I inquire?
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Rentschler, you were just asked a couple of questions about they provided information about the prior trial, correct?
Correct.
They is no one associated with the defense team, correct?
That's correct. No one associated with you, and they provided information, and again, it let me know what was going on, but it didn't affect my preparation or my opinions. It in no way changed any of my opinions or what I testified to.
Thank you for that.
To get through this, I'm going to let you just answer the question.
Sorry, Your Honor.
And with regard to, and I appreciate that, Mr. Brennan asked you a couple of questions about they being your employer. Do you remember those questions at the beginning of his cross-examination?
I do, yes.
Who is your employer, actually? The actual employer that you work for?
ARCCA.
Okay. Wasn't them.
No,
It's a client, correct?
it was a client.
A
That's
completely
correct.
separate entity that hired you for that work, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. You were asked about a fender vault collision, and you said, well, this wasn't a fender vault, right?
Correct.
What is a fender vault?
A fender vault is when you're hit by the front of a car and you're moving across the car. So you're moving across the center towards the driver's side of the car, and the car hits you. You go up over the car and you fly over the fender to the driver's side of the car. So you vault over top of the fender.
Dr. Rentschler, where is my, as I stand here, where is my center of mass?
Right about your belly button.
Right there. Right?
Yes.
So what would happen if I was hit by a vehicle, front collision, and the vehicle struck me below my center of mass?
It's going to flip you. Your center of mass will go. You'd go right up. If it was coming right at you and it hits you at your legs, you'd flip right into the hood or over top of the top of the car.
Is that what's described in the industry as a fender vault?
That is part of a fender vault, yes, but it's at an angle. So instead of going direct back, it's because if the person's walking across and you get hit, you fly kind of back and over the top of the fender.
Did that set of circumstances, physics, have anything to do with your analysis in this case?
No, none whatsoever. The profile of the car is completely different, the back of the SUV.
You were asked several questions about the debris field in the test F as in Foxtrot. Well, actually, you were asked about both test E and test F. Test E being the 24-mile-an-hour impact to the right arm of Randy, correct?
Correct.
And test F, the full rear impact, center of mass impact, correct?
Correct.
You were shown several photographs, exhibits of very tiny, tiny shards. Do you remember that?
I do, yes.
I'll get to that in a second. You were also shown some photographs of pieces of plastic that were claimed to have been found at 34 Fairview. Clear plastic, piece of red plastic, correct?
That's correct, yes.
In your review of all the data in this case, do you know when those pieces of plastic got to 34 Fairview?
I do not. No.
Do you know how those pieces of plastic got to 34 Fairview?
I do not, no.
Do you know who put those pieces of plastic at 34 Fairview?
I do not.
Were you aware in your review of the police reports that none of the plastic that you were shown was found at the time John O'Keefe's body was discovered and the area was initially searched?
That is correct, yes. I was aware of that.
You indicated that the cut on Mr. O'Keefe's nose, the right side of his nose, was inconsistent with coming from a vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Can you describe why you came to that conclusion?
Well, if you're standing at the back corner of the vehicle and it strikes the arm, and let's be clear, if nobody wants to say where the arm was or how it was positioned, if they're claiming the abrasions are a result of the fractured taillight, it has to strike the arm. You have to be standing like this. The debris goes forward with the vehicle. So it's with your arm like this, it already passes by the person. And if there would be any contact whatsoever, it would be with the right side of the face. The shard can't come out and then make a right turn and then somehow embed itself on the left side of the nose. That's entirely inconsistent with the fracture and how the glass and the cover would actually move.
Dr. Rentschler, you were asked a series of questions about a hat. Do you remember that?
I do.
About some shards of plastic material, correct?
Yes.
About a drinking glass?
Yes.
About a drinking straw?
Yes.
Doctor, if there was no collision, does any of that matter in terms of your biomechanical analysis and your reconstruction in this incident?
It does not.
Why?
Well, because if there wasn't a collision, it wasn't that debris or those items weren't a result of that impact. You can explain how that got there, I believe, easier than if you can't explain how the impact occurred, if the injuries don't match up. If you can't even prove what happened, then you can't use information or evidence if you have no idea how it got there to try and prove what you don't even know what happened. Scientifically, it makes no sense.
Scientifically, is the first question that has to be answered is, was there a collision?
Objection.
Sustained. You have to watch the Foreman question.
Of course. In your expert opinion, based on all of your review of all of the data in this case, all of the testing that you've undertaken, do you have an opinion as to whether or not there was a collision with John O'Keefe?
I do.
Objection.
Yeah, I'm sustaining that, Your Honor.
In your view, was there evidence of a collision with John O'Keefe?
Objection.
Sustained.
In your opinion, were any of the injuries that you saw suffered by John O'Keefe consistent with having been struck by the subject Lexus?
No, they are not.
Do you hold that opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty?
I do.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Doctor, you just said that you do not believe that there was a fender vault collision. Could it have been a clip?
Could it have clipped Mr. O'Keefe?
Yes. Not hit him, but clipped him.
Well, I don't believe that's consistent with the evidence and what occurred. I mean, someone can get clipped by a car, sure, but in this case, no, I don't believe the evidence indicates that's what occurred.
The glass. When you learned of the information of the glass in Mr. O'Keefe's nose, when do you think it was that that glass was pulled from his nose? What date?
I think it was the morning when his body was discovered.
January 29, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Somewhere around 6:15 a.m., is that your understanding?
Sometime when his body was discovered, that's correct.
Do you know or understand that, did you see any evidence that Mr. O'Keefe had a drinking glass outside of 34 Fairview Road that morning after he got out of the defendant's Lexus? Do you understand that?
What do you mean evidence?
Drinking glass. Did you hear anything about that in your review? About
What evidence would there be? Is there a video or a photograph, you mean, of him holding a drinking glass? Because otherwise there's a drinking glass there, but there's no evidence that he had it.
we have a clip, right? Okay. Judge, could I come sidebar?
Okay.
You were asked about whether or not any plastic taillight shards were found near Mr. O'Keefe's body. Do you know the limits of the search that the Canton Police Department did around Mr. O'Keefe's body? How small of an area they searched when they first went there?
I do not know, sir.
Did you ever see a video of somebody with a leaf blower blowing snow off the ground?
I did see that, yes.
And did you see the confined area in which that happened?
Well, I mean, I saw the area where he was blowing with the leaf blower.
Have you seen any information or evidence whatsoever that the pieces of taillight that were found after that search, have you seen any evidence that they were found in that exact area, or were they found in different areas on the lot?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't recall specifically.
And so when there was a snow blower or a leaf blower search in that area, there would not be a piece of plastic taillight to find if it was never there, would there be?
If it wasn't there, you wouldn't find it? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
Okay. Did you notice in the injuries to Mr. O'Keefe, most of them are on the right side of his body?
Well, we have the abrasions and then a half-centimeter abrasion, and then we have the laceration and scuff on the left side, and then the skull fracture. It's a little bit to the right, but it's mainly on the back of the head.
And the bruise on his knee?
That's the half centimeter. It's not a bruise. It's a half-centimeter abrasions, about an eighth of an inch.
When you're conducting an investigation or you're doing your analysis and you keep saying the physics and the physics, do you add a little bit of common sense in the equation when you're considering the evidence?
Well, you can sit back or step back and look at whether what someone's claiming makes sense in the bigger picture.
So when you have common sense and you look at the big picture, it's not just physics. It's considering all of the evidence, right?
Well, it depends what you're looking at. To certain parts of it, the biomechanical analysis, you look at the physics. It tells you what it is. I mean, if you don't like it and you don't think it fits, well, sorry, it is what it is. That's the science. So you have to step back. I mean, you can look at it the bigger picture if things make sense. You know, if somebody was standing on the side of the road with their arm like this while an SUV backed up at them and they didn't flinch or they didn't put their arm up, that's kind of the smell test bigger picture. That doesn't make sense. But the physics, you can't deny it. You have to accept what science tells you.
You can't deny it. That's the line you were laughing about in the documentary as one of your answers that you were all celebrating, isn't it?
Objection.
Isn't it?
The objection sustained.
How'd that taillight break, sir? How did it break that night?
How did? Oh, I don't know. There's no evidence of how it broke.
I have no further questions.
All right. You're all set, Dr. Rentschler.
Thank you, Your Honor.